Good morning. This is Mission Control Houston. I'm Rebecca Turkington, and we are live preparing for the release and departure of the Cygnus cargo spacecraft from the Northrop Grumman CRS-19 cargo resupply mission to the International Space Station. You're looking at a live view of Cygnus right now. This is the Mission Control Center. Cygnus has spent about 4 months attached to the space station after its delivery of crucial cargo to the crew living and working aboard the orbiting laboratory. Yesterday, the hatch to the Cygnus cargo spacecraft was closed, and the Canadarm robotic arm grappled Cygnus in advance of its unberthing and release. Earlier this morning, teams commanded the unbolting of Cygnus from the space station's on board today monitoring the operations of the release of Cygnus is NASA astronaut Laurel O'Hara. O'Hara was born and raised in the Houston area. She earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Aerospace Engineering from the University of Kansas and a Master of Science in Aeronautics and Astronautics from Purdue University. This is her first trip to space. She's part of NASA's 2020 class of astronauts, and she launched aboard the Soyuz MS-24 just in September of this year. Outside of her work with NASA, she's a private pilot, a certified emergency medical technician, and a wilderness first responder. Behind her, we have JAXA astronaut, that's Japanese Space Agency astronaut Satoshi Furukawa. And on the far right is NASA astronaut Laurel O'Hara, the voice you are going to hear communicating with mission control teams here in Houston and monitoring the release and departure of Cygnus. Poll to determine whether we will proceed with the release and departure of Cygnus. Our first release window is going to open at 7:03 this morning. We do have a backup release window, but everything is proceeding smoothly. We are expected to proceed with that release during this first window. Opens at 7:03, and our expected release is at 7:05.
Station Houston on 2 for Laurel. We are ready for step 2 whenever you are.
And work.
Copy.
So on the robotic arm, there are 2 latching end effectors, or lees. One is located on each end. It's what allows the robotic arm to grapple Cygnus. Each lee includes a snare mechanism, a rigidized mechanism, and a latch and umbilical mechanism. Once that release sequence has begun, those snares are going to open, which will extend the carriage of the latching end effector to release the Cygnus vehicle. We're going to see that separation as the Canadarm retracts away. So it's going to back away from Cygnus, and at that time, then Cygnus is going to conduct its departure burn. That is what is going to bring it away from the station. After that, we have 2 milestones. First, it's going to exit what's called the keep-out sphere. That's scheduled to take place at around 7:13 a.m. Central Time, 8:13 a.m. Eastern Time. The keep-out sphere is an invisible line around the space station monitored by the flight controllers. And finally, after that, Cygnus is going to cross the approach ellipsoid. After Cygnus crosses that approach ellipsoid, the joint operations will end. We'll wrap up coverage, and responsibility for the vehicle is fully on the Northrop Grumman Flight Control Team in Dulles, Virginia.
Station Houston on 2 for Laurel. ISS thrusters are inhibited, and ground M1 is go for release on time.
Copy, go for on-time release.
Release commanded.
Copy, release commanded, and I have DMA blue.
Copy.
This is a live view on the end of the robotic arm looking at Cygnus. That release command has been initiated, so you are going to see you're soon going to see that separation of the vehicle from
Latch blue.
Copy.
E-ridge blue. Open blue.
Copy. Snares open. Begin monitoring for drift out.
the robotic arm operator here in Michigan.
Station, Penn has exited the lead. Go for back away.
Copy. Proceeding with back away.
The robotic arm is now being maneuvered away from the cargo spacecraft.
Back away in progress.
Copy. Houston Station, SSRMS to vehicle clearance approximately 1.5 meters.
Copy.
at 7:07 a.m. Central Time, 8:07 a.m. Eastern Time. Cygnus was released from the robotic arm as the space station flies over the North Atlantic Ocean, approaching the west coast of Africa.
Houston Station, we see Cygnus at 4.5 meters.
We copy.
Proceeding with departure commanding in step 4.
Copy, and your go. Cygnus departure burn is in progress. Monitor departure burn, step 5 in 1.602.